So the last story I want to share with you, this story is an unsettling story, and I'll tell you why I did this story. Part of this channel is to make you aware of how bad people can be, and to hopefully help you have your alarm bells on when needed. And sometimes things are going to happen you probably can't even get out of. And this particular case is this is such a sad case. So this man is sentenced to death for setting ex-wife on fire during a live stream. And what she was live streaming on is what in China they have their own version of TikTok. That's what she was live streaming on, was their version of TikTok. And so he was convicted to death. So he's sentenced to death for murdering his ex-wife. He set her on fire while she was live streaming. This is one of the worst things. And when this case went on, he was convicted a couple years ago, and this is what the sentencing was. But when this case was first brought to light, there was a nationwide outrage over domestic violence because, again, the wife was not taken serious. And it kind of makes me think of the Gabby Petito August 12th body cam footage where they were kind of siding, and you can see it. You can even see it on this channel. They were kind of siding with Brian Laundrie, siding with her because she did admit, of hitting him barely or something like that. And so now you have this again where, granted, this happened before Gabby Petito, but because it's so fresh in my mind, I saw some similarities between the two. And so she died after he put gasoline on her and set her on fire in September of last year. And she suffered burns on 90% of her body, but she died 2 weeks later. And this was an ex-wife. It wasn't his current wife. But there was a history of violence in this marriage. There was a history of violence towards her. In June of 2020, only months before she was murdered at her father's house, at her father's home, this is where it was like there was so much history of the domestic violence that he did to her. And that's where it's so sad about this whole thing. And so this is also what caused a nationwide outrage over domestic violence. It's so easy to try to brush this stuff off. And so, you never know until after the fact, man, should more have been done? It's never okay to hit anyone, but let alone domestic violence wise, it's cruel. It's cruel. And the court says, this was the quote from the court, his crime was extremely cruel and the social impact was extremely bad. And the court statement was calling for severe punishment with the law. And when this happened, that it actually occurred, this is where it's like everyone needs to be aware that this stuff can happen. This stuff can happen. And, her death triggered an online outcry of let's number one, keep this in the spotlight. Let's know what's going on in these rural communities as well, because that's where they lived in China, in this rural community. And especially in where, in ethnic, when this happens, how do you bring light to this stuff? And especially being that she was a mother of 2 children and she was known for her upbeat post on the rural lifestyle, And she was praised for not using makeup in her videos, which had millions of likes. She was becoming an influencer in China. And here's the thing. China only criminalized domestic violence 5 years ago. 5 years ago. So this wasn't something that this was going on long before they took this serious. And according to a statistic, around 1 in 4 married Chinese women have experienced domestic abuse. And this is according to a 2013 survey by the All China Women's Federation. And according to activists, they say victims' repeated complaints are often not taken seriously by police until it is too late. Because the police were throwing it off as this is a private family matter. Well, you know what? Number one, men hitting women is cowardly. Women hitting men is cowardly. No need. You're supposed to be loving each other. No need beating on each other. But the anger gets the best of people, and sometimes they don't even know how it got there. And so, here we are again. Well, he won't be doing it again because he's going to be getting the life sentence, the death penalty. And so, we wish that this was prevented, and it wasn't. And now he's getting what he deserves. Now, I don't know if I'm a fan of the death penalty, to be completely honest with you. But I'm not hating the courts for doing it either. To me, it's not my call. But, if you do take a life, what does the Bible say? I am a big believer in the Bible, that's for sure. But I couldn't pull the plug too. I couldn't do it myself. So that's where it's like, I don't even know what side I'm on when it comes to death penalty or spending the rest of your life in prison. My friends, I'm Manny Rodriguez. Thank you for joining me today. This is Top Stories around true crime. And hey, let me know in the comments what you would like me to report on. Whether I'm sharing top stories or covering a case, let me know. I'm glad to update you. My friends, I'm Manny Rodriguez. I look forward to serving you again. Have an amazing day. Peace.